Beyond the Mic with Sean Dillon.
We're joined on the star line by an award-winning countertenor and one of the contestants of season 19 of The Voice on NBC. We welcome John Holliday.
How you doing, Sean? Great to be with you.
Absolutely great. Let's go beyond the mic. Now, how do you prepare differently for a Juilliard audition than for one on The Voice?
I would say that there is no difference in that preparation, Sean. I feel like whenever you prepare for anything musical, there's probably the same things going into it.
Really?
You want to do well, you want to be prepared, you want to have your music memorized, and you want to put your best foot forward. And you want to be as connected as you can to your audience, authentically being yourself. And I've done that basically the same way that I would do any audition or any performance. So I kind of get really focused, and I get still and really clear about what I want to give to the audience, and mostly about what I want to convey through the song or the song choice. And I just give my all to it. So I wouldn't say that the preparation is actually any different. I would say that it's pretty much the same.
Your tone is crisp and clear. It's almost like a bell. How did you get into singing?
I got into singing with my grandmother when I was very, very, very young. My grandmother and my mother always tell me that before I spoke, I sang. And I can kind of believe that. So since a very young, kid, since I was a very young kid, I've done it. I think I was 2 years old, and my grandmother and my mom would put me on top of pianos and on top of tables, and I would sing. So I've always done it. I come from a musical family, and my grandmother, whom I lovingly call Big Mama, has been my inspiration my entire life. And she was a music minister at our church and also a teacher. And so whatever Big Mama told me to do, you better believe I did it. And I did it with joy. But I've been singing since I was 2 years old, and that's what I've known and what I've enjoyed doing. And thankfully, it's really led me to do some really incredible things in my life. It's led me to The Voice, where I have met so many incredible artists and worked with the amazing John Legend, and working with all these wonderful coaches. And then I get to talk with you and talk to your audience because of that and because of the journey. So this has just been incredible.
Let's talk about that. You've sung at the Apollo and other halls across the country. What has your time on The Voice taught you?
Well, it's something that I tell my students and my mentees all over the world, is that no matter how high you get or how high you think you are, there's always still room for growth. You're never done learning. You're never done giving your all. And one of the things that John and I have been talking about a lot is musical style, musicality, things to keep on working on. And he's helped me to lean more into who I am as a unique artist and a unique human being. And these are things that I will take with me the rest of my life. I'm always teaching my students, to be themselves 100%. I don't want to sound like anyone else. I want to sound just like John Holliday. And I'm happy that I'm on a show where I get to showcase that. So just leaning more into who I am, thinking about different things musically in terms of style and what's available to me, or ways that I can think about style in a different way. You think you know something, and then you come onto a show like this, and you're being coached by the most amazing people, and they teach you different things. And I just think that's something to keep on going and working toward in life. It's just always being your unique self, always trying to learn if you're going to be a singer or a musician or anything. Well, singers are musicians, by the way. But if you're going to do that, to really lean into learning the stylistic intricacies of different genres. And that's been the beautiful thing I've gotten from working with John. And he's always telling me, he's like, you know what, John, don't try to sing something that isn't unique or that isn't characteristic of who you are. We want to hear you soar. And when he's saying soar, he's talking about singing kind of into the stratosphere. And so I will take all that with me throughout this journey. It's just been really a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful journey to be on. So I'm really grateful for it.
Now, with your range as a countertenor so rare, how often do you have to change arrangements to suit your voice?
I don't have to change it often. It usually works for me. What'll happen is I make it work for my voice. I don't think that there's a way that I wouldn't say changing it so much, but I'll just say, I just make it work. For me, I think because of my upbringing, I'm able to kind of change things around to make it work. And and it generally fits me. I just make it my song.
Well, time's running out, so it's time for the Rocking 8. 8 random questions. Answer with the first thing that comes to your mind. There is no pressure.
Okay.
Which is your favorite of Wagner's Ring Circle?
Oh, God. I'm not a huge Wagner fan.
Opera respects opera. I had to try. Favorite Christmas song?
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire. Christmas song.
If you could sing a duet with any jazz star, alive or dead, who would it be with?
Ella Fitzgerald.
As my son is currently at the Cincinnati Conservatory of Music, what's the one tip you would give him as an alumni?
Oh, my goodness. To lean into all of the resources that wonderful university has at its disposal. It is one of the most incredible conservatories in the world, and I'm proud to be an alum. And listen to your teacher.
What's your favorite thing for breakfast?
An egg McMuffin.
Do you ever think you'll get your pilot's license?
I will. I'm working on it.
Favorite plane to fly when you're playing Flight Simulator?
The Gulfstream 550.
And finally, what's the one lesson you want your students to learn from your experience on The Voice?
To always give your best and continue to stretch yourself throughout your life. Don't ever give up on your dreams, and don't put yourself into any boxes. Allow yourself to soar, and there's only one of you in all of time. Get about the business of being your best self.
He still wants to learn to fly, loves Egg McMuffins, and encourages students to listen to their teacher. Listen! Countertenor star from The Voice on NBC, John Holiday. Thanks so much for talking with us today.
Thank you so much, Sean, for having me. It's been a pleasure.
And that, my friends, is Beyond the Mic.